Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, another Tyranid time update, and I've been working on this Trygon model that I've got. Now if you record in the very first episode of this little series, I said I have a Trygon, actually it's a Trygon Prime, and I made this before I knew anything about magnets, or before I was like doing magnetisation. So this is fully glued together, and I suggested that my plan was to sell this, buy another kit and then magnetise it. Well, three disadvantages with that would be: one, I'd obviously take a hit money wise, two, I'd have the hassle of trying to sell it and get the best price for it, and three, I'd have to re-scrape down all of the mould lines, and then obviously put a lot of work into magnetising. So I've sort of revisited this with a newfound confidence after doing my Aldar turd about converting and stuff. When I looked at it previously, I just saw an impossibility of doing anything with it. But when I looked at it this time, I thought, well, hang on a minute, I think I might actually be able to do something. So the first thing to talk about would be the scything talons, which obviously are all glued into place. Now the Mawloc has smaller talons. There's 5 different talons for all the different versions altogether, but I'm figuring that this model here would be absolutely fine having the slightly bigger talons, so I didn't do anything with those. I'm just going to leave those how they are. I think it's going to be fine. So that was my first sort of port of call. I then was working on the main area, which is obviously the head. The first thing I was thinking was the tongue itself. The tongue obviously sticking right out. Now you probably notice I've got a green stuff tongue here, and the reason for that is I've actually gone in and I clipped his original tongue off on this guy. Obviously I had all of the bits still from the original kit, so I have the Trygon bit, the Mawloc bits. So what I did, I decided to take his tongue off, and I made this little green stuff tongue, which is very small, which I've magnetised on, and then I got the original tongue section, trimmed that off, magnetised that, and that is now magnetised on there. So I thought, yeah, that's actually a very good start. It's actually looking, all of a sudden, looking more Mawloc-ish. Next up, I ripped these maulers, are they called? These things on the side of the mouth. Ripped them off, and then I magnetised them on. Now, while I was doing that, I decided I'd make it into a Trygon as well as a Prime. So I've got the Trygon ones magnetised, obviously with that green stuff tongue. And then I went straight onto the tail and I ripped that off, and then I've magnetised that on. I had to do a little bit of repair stuff with the green stuff, but it's all good. So I've got that tail. So now I've got the Trygon and the Trygon Prime version, obviously with the smaller tongue. Obviously I put the Mawloc tail on there as well, so I've done that. Mawloc tail. And then the next stage was to sort out the side sections of this Mawloc. Now, just take that. Okay, that's the mouth section, which is obviously magnetised on this one. I have a video on how to magnetise these in the archives. Actually, I'll put a link in the description for you. So next up with these bits, and alongside that were these pieces down here. Now, the first thing I did was I just magnetised these bits on. But to get these bits on was almost impossible. I mean, I figured with the mouth that his mouth could be closed, because obviously this opens and closes. So this could be closed, he's ready to pounce. But I still felt that I needed these pieces going down here. So what I did is I basically cut those sections off, and just show you what I did. Cut them off, and I've green stuffed them onto the side pieces, because it was literally impossible to magnetise them onto the side of the jaw. I mean, it just wouldn't work, as the area is so small. So yeah, what I did was I basically put them into position so that when they're on, like so, get them on, There you go. So now I've got the side sections and also those bits there, and they match up with his jawline perfectly. I mean, they're not obviously really flush, but they're pretty flush, and all of that section there is going to be black. So you know, you're not going to be able to see that join at all. Let me just put these back. It's difficult to do when you can't see properly. Guess in there. Right, 1, 2. Okay, so that was that. And I thought to myself, well, that would actually do. There is one other Mawloc section, and that's the head. Now, this one, of course, has all 3 head options. This one here, I looked very closely. There was no way that I was going to get that off, because I'm quite meticulous when I glue stuff. I make sure it's glued. That's not coming off. It actually looks very similar to this, really, going across the top. It's just these little sections. Now, I did think about maybe drilling some holes, putting magnets and trying to glue them, magnetise them on, but then they'd just stick out too much. So I almost gave up and said that would do, but then right at the last minute I thought, no, let's do this, go the full hog. So I got my pliers and I trimmed out these 2 sections, and what I came up with in the end, which is these, trimmed them off and put little magnets on, and then on the back of his head he has 2 magnets. So there you go. I have all of the Mawloc options now magnetised on that guy. Done. So I'm really happy with the results. I think it looks fantastic. And okay, yes, it's got the bigger scything talons, and okay, yes, I could probably snap them off and glue all the others on. But to be honest, I don't think it needs it. I think it looks absolutely fine. The key thing for me really is that when I place it on the table, you can say, yeah, that's a Mawloc. And for me, it looks like a Mawloc as it is. So I'm really happy. And obviously now I have all 3 options, which is brilliant. Okay, so that's it. That's the update. That is now ready for priming and painting. But of course, I've got to finish the current batch that I'm on. But obviously just working in the background, really preparing the stuff so that when I finish painting I can go straight on to the next thing. Okay, that's it from me. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching.